remember I showed up, told my squad leader that I wanted to be a dentist, and he said, "We're not here to make dentists." My desire to serve was a lot higher than my desire to be a dentist, so I just decided to stick with it at the Naval Academy. Graduated in 11, service selected nuclear submarines. Found out she was pregnant, and I decided I needed to find a way to get out. It's really cool to see those videos on YouTube and stuff of like soldiers or people returning home after deployments, and everyone's really happy, but they don't show you the 3 or 6 months, a year that they've been gone and what that's been like. And I've watched my guys kind of go through that, and I didn't want to do that with kids.
Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of The Flip Side with me, your host Blake Schultz. Today, I've got a very fun guest, a super cool career path. We actually went to high school together. We haven't really caught up since then because he's been too busy. So he has been he served as a naval nuclear engineer on a submarine, a ballistic submarine. Is that right?
Yep.
Submarine. And then you taught future officers at UVA. Then you said, let me try something completely out of left field, get into dentistry, and then advanced endodontics training at UAB here in Birmingham. And then you are in Texas now. Is that right?
Yeah, Amarillo, Texas.
All right, Amarillo, Texas, and practicing. You've got a family, 3 kids. Super impressive everything you've done. I feel like we just graduated, but it's actually been a while, so there is time to get some stuff done. But Viet Vo, thank you for being here, man.
Yeah, man, appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, so obviously that was a very quick overview of a ton that you accomplished, but kind of take me back. What did that look like? What direction did you want to go right out of school? Did you know, like, hey, the end goal is dentistry, but we're going to go the military route first?
No, I mean, it's pretty funny. Like I left high school thinking that I wanted to be a dentist just because I saw a couple of dentists in the area and their lifestyle was just completely different from what my family's lifestyle was. Like they worked 3-4 days a week and they were able to take vacation and hang out with their kids and stuff like that, which my parents weren't able to do. So I knew I wanted that lifestyle. And then when I went to the Naval Academy in, gosh, what was that, 07? I remember I showed up, told my squad leader that I wanted to be a dentist, and he said, "We're not here to make dentists." And so at the time, my desire to serve was a lot higher than my desire to be a dentist, so I just decided to stick with it at the Naval Academy. And then graduated in 11, service selected nuclear submarines, did my training around the US, and then ended up in Washington State, where I met my wife, Angeles, and basically kind of we met, got married, and then moved to Charlottesville, Virginia, where I did the ROTC unit and I trained future officers there. And then found out she was pregnant, and I decided I needed to find a way to get out. Just because, I mean, it's really cool to see those videos on YouTube and stuff of like soldiers or people returning home after deployments, and everyone's really happy, but they don't show you the 3 or 6 months, a year that they've been gone and what that's been like. And I've watched my guys kind of go through that, and I didn't want to do that with kids. And that's why I made the decision to kind of revisit what career I wanted to have, and dentistry came back on the books. So I did all my prereqs while I was an instructor at UVA, and then applied and got in at UAB in 19 when I got out, and then graduated dental school in 23 and went straight into residency, and then just graduated in 25.
Yeah,
so
congratulations.
Yeah, I appreciate that.
That's a lot of schooling for sure.
Yeah, man. It was weird at my graduation. Like they asked us all to give a speech, and it kind of hit me that like my daughter just turned 9, and since the day she was born, I've been in school to reach that milestone of graduating from an endodontic residency. Now, I didn't know I wanted to go to endodontic residency right away when I got into dental school, but it's just crazy how time flies. And that she was there from literally the minute she was born. I was taking prereqs for dental school. And then when I graduated, she was with me. So it was cool.
Yeah, that's awesome. So talk to me about balancing. I mean, you were teaching ROTC, but also taking classes. What did that look like day to day?
Um, I mean, I'd go to work, do my stuff I need to do for work, but literally any off time that I had was devoted to doing schoolwork or studying for those tests that I was taking. Now, it wasn't like a crazy number of hours that I was taking, but it was still that like pretty much. I joke with my wife that she's basically been a single mom for the past 8 years because literally every extra second that I had has been devoted to studying to get to where I am now. So um, it would be 8 to 5, maybe 5:30 to 5 working, and then I do night classes and then doing homework and studying. It was all those like hard like science classes like the OChem and biology and chemistry. I was like, oh my gosh, dude, I didn't realize I needed all this just to be a dentist. It's crazy.
Yeah,
But
but no
what you
one was happy to see you graduate than her.
Yeah, oh my God. Yeah, I thought about oral surgery residency for a little bit, but I'm pretty sure she would have left me because that's like a 6 year residency program. And I was like, there's no way she's gonna put up with that.
Yeah, we've got some good friends that he just graduated from that. He went straight from like undergrad all the way through, and he's an oral surgeon in Atlanta now. And it's
Oh, wow.
watching his wife went to PT school with my wife, and so they're friends of ours. So watching him go through that, we hang out with him. I was about to say travel with him, but we never did because they could never come because he was always in school.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's just hats off to y'all because he's a lot smarter than I am. But that's incredible.
Yes. Appreciate it.
Yeah. So is that kind of next step? We talked a little bit about the practice you're in. So you're there working, but kind of you don't just get to practice dentistry and any specialties there, but you actually get to take on some of the kind of business roles and ownership roles outside of just practicing. What does that look like for you?
Yeah, so right now, I mean, we're working on um like marketing just to kind of set ourselves apart from some of the competition that's in the area. Right. So he used to be pretty much the only show in town, but now there's a couple guys that are here as well. So it's kind of marketing to kind of show how we are different. And then I also have taken like a Botox and filler class and going to get ready to start marketing that. And we're kind of going at it from the angle of like oral facial pain. So people that come in with pain, either with their TMJs or there's muscles that when they're overworked will kind of radiate and give pain like it's coming from the teeth. And I've been seeing a lot of patients like that. And so I went and took this course in order to be able to kind of give them relief. If we kind of give them some Botox and kind of not weaken the muscles, but kind of prevent them from being overstimulated, it helps with that. It takes a couple applications and it takes a couple weeks for the medicine to like kick in. But once it does, there's a drastic effect, and to be able to help somebody like that I thought was cool. And something we haven't been able to provide before.
Yeah.
So we're going to market that as well.
Yeah. It's interesting you say that. So Rachel, my wife's a PT, and gosh, it's been, I guess, 2 years ago, kind of specialized in myofunctional therapy, which is like all TMJ, jaw, tongue tie, release, all that kind of stuff. It's the same thing. And long story short, got into it because she had a lot of issues, ended up getting a tongue tie release a couple years ago and then going through the PT of it.
Oh,
So she's in a very small practice here, but they market to people like you, to like dentists who say like, okay, well the Botox route is not necessary or doesn't fit or whatever, and be able to have someone refer that to. So
yeah. It's
okay.
pretty crazy how many people kind of suffer from that and kind of don't really have anyone that knows how to help them.
Yeah.
And I don't know, it's pretty interesting. Like, I met a couple like registered nurses and primary care physicians while I was at this course, and they're like, "Yeah, man, like a lot of patients they come in, they're like, hey, my these joints hurt, these muscles hurt,' and we're just like, I don't know what to do." And so and it's one of those things where you're like, you can't just like kind of mess around because the mouth is just so sensitive. Like think about like when you get like a little cut on your tongue, it feels like there's just this giant gash, right? Or like a filling that you just got. It feels like it's this huge thing, but really it's like a tiny couple millimeters big, you know. But the mouse is just so sensitive that it's crazy. So to be able to provide that help for people, I think is pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That's nothing I ever thought of, and she didn't either. Kind of getting into it, but having a patient that gets the tongue tie release cut, and then they're talking about how their neck and posture and back muscles all relax and how it's all connected.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's crazy.
Yeah, it's weird, dude. I met a lady this weekend actually that had been suffering with migraines and headaches for like 30 years. And then she was able to get Botox in a couple of her muscles around her forehead and like instant relief.
Yeah,
And barely gets them now. And so now she's coming in every 3 months to kind of get that treatment going. But it's just like she's been taking pills her entire life, basically, her entire adult life. With like it helps a little bit, but um, it just gets tiring taking those pills. And so now, like that, she has gotten the Botox, and she is not suffering from migraines and headaches anymore. It's like it's a game changer, man. It's
yeah,
wild.
that's yeah, literally changing people's lives. It's fun. You probably do this too. She'll not in front of them, but yeah, we'll be hanging out with some people, or even just walking down the street, and she'll see someone and just like how they breathe or their jaw position or whatever. She's like, I could probably help them, or I could help them.
Yeah,
Right?
it's crazy. There's a whole big push in dentistry now with like sleep,
Yeah,
um, sleep appliances now, just because like I mean everything's related, right? Like when it comes to health. So like you can if you help people sleep better, they feel better, you know. I don't know. It's
yeah,
the human body is just wild.
yeah, yeah. And the other night, she was like, we woke up and she's like, "You're snoring last night. I think I need to give you some exercises to do." I was like, "Wait, what?"
Yeah,
That's,
and that's a big thing too with like sleep apnea, huge correlation with people that have bruxism or people that grind their teeth at night too. And so like they were showing us cases where people coming in super heavy grinders, there's tests for that now. And then when they resolve that with Botox by kind of relaxing their masseter muscles and their temporalis muscles, and they're preventing them, not preventing, but like significantly reducing their bruxism or grinding, that it significantly improved their sleep apnea as well.
man,
So
that's great.
pretty
Yeah.
interesting.
Oh, nice. Well, I'm gonna tell her to listen to this and maybe reach out to you.
Yeah.
Job.
I mean, I'm by any means no expert.
Yeah,
But
that's as far as my knowledge goes.
yeah.
Well, kind of jumping back, I mentioned right before we hopped on to you that kind of across any industry, business is business from the sense of you got to market, you got to get people in, you've got to drive top line revenue, and then as long as you perform your service, whether it's as a realtor, as a dentist, as a PT, you've got to get people in the door, and you've got to drive that. Kind of moving, you're getting exposed to that role a little bit, and I'm excited to talk about what the future looks like for you because I bet a lot more of that's in your future. But what are you seeing y'all are doing specifically for the marketing efforts and to try to keep that consistent and as granular as like platforms? Like, are you just going social media? Is it cold calls? Is it what are y'all doing?
Yeah, so it's kind of weird right now, right? Because social media is so big. And like, I mean, everyone like sees all these dentists like dancing, doing TikTok videos and stuff like that. And it's like we're not really getting into that or anything. But I mean, it's interesting how that arena is shifting into, hey, like we can now reach more people, right? People are Googling things more. It used to be whenever you had a specialist, like the dentist tells you to go to this specialist, so you go to that specialist. But now, like people can Google you and read your reviews and see if you're good or not, and make their own decision, right? We'll have some patients that'll say, "Hey, we didn't know which endodontist to go see, so we just kind of Googled, and then y'all had really good reviews, so we came in." But they were referred to another practice, maybe, and saw that in residency too. But people are just able to go and find kind of their own answers to things. And so right now we're marketing to obviously our general dentist to kind of maintain that relationship, but also straight to the public as well. So we want to show them why we're different, how we're different, and what kind of experience that they're going to have when they walk in through our doors. Because I mean, it's one thing to get a patient or a customer into your door, but if you don't provide the level of service that they want and they don't feel important, then they're not going to come back, or they're not going to accept treatment, or they're not going to once they kind of walk in, they'll make a judgment and then move on, you know? Um, so our biggest thing right now is focusing on is what kind of patient experience are we giving and how do we give them the best patient experience as possible?
Mhm. Do you have any examples of specific things y'all are doing to do that?
So we brought in technology called GentleWave. It's technology that uses like ultrasonic and fluid dynamics to kind of really clean out the inside of the root canal. So we don't have to use, it used to be where you have to take these bigger taper files. So taper meaning how it starts off really small, and then as it gradually goes up, it gets wider and wider. And that's how traditionally root canals were performed. Nowadays, with this newer technology, we're able to use smaller files and kind of keep as much of your dentin or whatever the stuff that your tooth is made of, more of that intact. So we're not weakening it. And so we're showing videos of why we chose to bring that technology into the practice and why we think it's better, and how that experience is kind of, this is kind of anecdotal, but it's given the patients a much better post-operative experience. So they're not in as much post-operative pain. The guys that are here are telling me that they're not seeing a lot of their treatments come back as failures. Because I mean, as good as we think we are, right, we're fighting bacteria that are on a microscopic level, right? So if we leave some bacteria that's in the canals, then that can lead to future failures of that treatment, right? And all these teeth, when you look at a root canal, you see white lines and you're like, okay, yeah, I cleaned it all. But really there's all these tiny communications between the canals. And so whatever you can do best to try to get rid of as much bacteria as possible to allow the human body to kind of fight, is what makes our treatment successful. So with this new technology that they brought in years ago, they're able to see that they're not getting as many failures as they used to, right? And so really kind of telling and informing the patients that that's what we have and that's how we are different from the other people that are around. And then really we're hosting, like, y'all have continuing education events that y'all do.
Yep.
So we host a lot of those for our general dentist in the area. And I've been involved in, I want to say like 3 or 4 of those since I've been here. Where we kind of teach them about it and teach them other things that we do to kind of help give them the best experience and the best treatment outcome as we can. And that's really kind of what we're doing to try to set ourselves apart.
Yeah. So a lot around the education piece, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Because, like, I mean, at the end of the day, like, no, anytime a patient or a dentist comes in, like, they don't really know what is going on inside the tooth, right? They're just like, okay, I hope that what you're saying is what you're doing, right? Like, but you don't know, like, you haven't been trained to know what to look at when you look at an X-ray.
Or you say, I just know it hurts.
Yeah, right. And like, really, it shouldn't hurt. Like, a root canal should be painless. Now, if you're coming in a lot of pain and there's a lot of other stuff going on, like you waited too long before getting a root canal, then like you have a lot of inflammation in the area, then it makes it harder to get you numb. And then that's kind of where all these like horror stories come from.
Yeah.
But on a day-to-day, like, patients should come in, you numb them up. It should just be like a filling where you get numb and then you don't feel anything and then you're done.
Okay.
So oh no, I think like that's like the battle that we kind of fight, which is different, which is weird here because like all the patients come in, right? They're already in pain, they're already anxious, they're already scared, and now you got to work through all 3 of those barriers to get them to accept treatment. And so like being able to deliver a good experience is going to help just calm everyone down, get everyone to relax, and then Anesthesia goes well, and then we kind of get through the rest of the process pretty smoothly. But like I always tell patients once they get through the shot, that's the hardest part,
Yeah.
because then you get numb and then you're not scared anymore, right? So it's
Yeah.
weird.
Getting them there through, yeah, calming and education. I like that. So one other piece, so education around what y'all do around root canals and service there, but also if you're introducing the Botox aspect of the business, which sounds like it's kind of a newer side of it, that's a whole nother revenue piece and kind of a marketing piece that goes around that, right?
Yeah, so that I mean that's completely brand new. I just did the course like this past weekend,
Okay, yeah,
and so we're kind of working through that right now, on how to implement that, and really I'm not trying to go and because like general dentists do it too, right? So I'm not trying to go and like take other people's patients by any means. Really, I'm just there in case someone needs someone that can help someone that's in pain, right? That's the whole reason I got into this field, is because I like the immediate satisfaction of someone comes in pain and I say, hey, I can get you out of it if as long as you accept treatment. And then they accept treatment, and then boom, next day or that the next hour, in the next hour you're out of pain, right?
yeah,
So that immediate satisfaction is why I got into endo. So like to be able to add this piece on is just another layer.
yeah. I like that. Well, I want to zoom back out a little bit, kind of going back. I know your family owned their own business here growing up, so you're no stranger to hard work and late nights and just grinding. But there's, I guess this is the question: is what kind of structure did the military give you to put all of that, I guess, energy and work that you had, that work ethic you had? How did the military give that a structure, and then how did that help you in your career after the military?
I think the military just like teaches you discipline, right? Like it teaches you to make a goal, teaches you it's going to suck getting to that goal. So accept the suck and just keep pushing forward, right? Um, and I think I saw a lot of that like going back to school, and like you meet a lot of younger kids that want that have all these aspirations to do these things, but then they run into a stop, an obstacle, and then they get just completely fall apart, or they get super flustered and they're like, all right, well, I guess that's not my path. So then they kind of move on to another route. It's like I think the discipline that I learned in the military was what really helped me to succeed in dental school and beyond, right? Because you know where you want to get to each day. You just got to take a step forward, and you know it's going to suck, but you just keep pushing forward, and eventually you get there. Um, and that I think, and I don't really know how to put this, but like I don't know, just grit, I guess. Um, and being able to push forward no matter what obstacles get in the way, because every day you're gonna get punched in the face. It's whether or not you get back up, right? And
Yeah,
that's the thing with like business. Like I saw with my parents, like every day they would go to work at shoot, they'd wake up at like 6, get there at 7, do what they need to do, open doors at 8 o'clock, stay there till 8 p.m. and close, and then do all the other crap you got to do afterwards, right? Until 9, 10, 11, 12, 1 a.m. And then you wake up again the next day, right? And, I mean, that sucks doing that for what, 30 years, but like that's what allowed them to provide the life that they wanted to give to themselves and to their children, right? And that's something I kind of regret growing up, is I kind of took that for I was really angry. Not angry, but like upset with them that like I mean, I played football for 10 years. I think they came to 3 games total. And I never really understood why they couldn't just close the doors for a couple hours to come out. And it's like now looking back, it's like, no, they sacrificed a lot to get me or give me the ability to get to where I am now.
yeah,
And if it wasn't for them, I would never be here. Right. And I don't know. I'm just really thankful now being able to look back and see how hard they had to work, um, and give me the opportunity to now I can be where I am and I can give my kids a better life, and hopefully they take that and they create an even better one in the future, right? That's the goal.
Yeah. Well, I love that kind of train of thought because consistency compounds, but your parents were consistent, right? Just
Yeah.
grinding every day to get the product. You seeing that and taking that and saying, okay, because I'm it's somewhat similar in the way of like, okay, I see my parents worked every day, gave us an incredible life. So how can I provide that same thing, but then 10x it, right? Like how can I kind of fast forward the income and the grind where I'm, working 10, 12-hour days, cash shorten that to the first 10 years of my career and then be way more flexible than I would have been if I didn't on the back end. And something that I heard early on that's always stuck with me is especially like early 20s was do now what others won't so I can do later what others can't.
Yep.
And,
Yep.
and
Love that.
yeah, and just that idea. So always, it was always a yes for me when an opportunity came up. Even if, I mean, my first job was getting paid $6 an hour with a college degree to swing a hammer as a laborer on a construction site, but it was there to learn. And because that was a yes, instead of just accepting a $40,000 job year in a desk, right? It led to other opportunities. So
Yeah, and I think that's what a lot of people miss. It's because like a lot of people they go to school and they did all these things that their parents said would make them successful, and then they're like, okay, I'm at the end. Like now I'm the man or I'm the girl, like I know everything that to be successful. And it's like, no, you were just starting out, man. Like you know nothing. You know the bare minimum to get a piece of paper that says that you can do the things that you want to do. But again, you know nothing. And I think that willingness to say yes, and I was talking about this with my partner, is like, um, whenever he comes to me and he says, hey, I want you to do this, I'm like, yep, let's do it. Or when I was in residency, anytime my program director was like, hey, I want you to do this, like I was like, okay, yeah, like this is my time to practice. This is my time to get my hands on experience. So like, let me do as much as I can. Not, oh no, like I want to go home early. Like no, like go and get your experience. And at the beginning of your career, like you are at the bottom, right? Like yes, you are a doctor or an associate at a practice, but you are still at the beginning of your career. You have so much to learn, and every experience that you can get your hands on is an experience. And like he wanted me to go visit, I think it was like 107 offices around, just to introduce myself. And that's a grind, man. Like driving and bringing gifts to these people and introducing yourself. And like if you're not an extrovert, like that takes a lot of energy. Like I'm not inherently an extrovert by any means, so like that takes a lot of energy to go and say, hey, I'm so and so, like let me learn about you, get to know you, let me start this relationship with you, and to do that. And but that has paid out dividends because now I have a relationship with these people, and if they need something or if I need something, we can call each other and talk about patients or whatever it is. Um, and I think people are more comfortable referring to you when they know who you are, you know? Um, and like when you have a good relationship, then they can kind of talk to the patients and be like, hey, this guy's a good guy. Like I trust him wholeheartedly. And then that takes one less barrier away from that patient to be scared of coming to you, you
yeah,
know? But
yeah,
yeah,
no,
mindset, me saying yes, like that is definitely what's kind of helped set me apart along my career.
yeah, I love that. Well, and coming from the last 9 years, basically working two jobs, training recruits and going to school full time and balancing that with the family. You definitely had a just sun up to sundown, constant motion. So, do you feel like you've actually shedded a job, a full time job now that you're actually working and you just got one place to be and then you can go home?
Yeah, honestly, my wife was like right before graduation, she was like, this is what I'm most scared about. And I was like, what do you mean? She's like, you're going from working 7 days a week to like four. Like, what are you just gained 3 days? Like, what are you gonna do? And I honestly was like, I have no idea. Like I have zero hobbies because like all of my time went to either work or kids and my wife or so now it's just trying to figure out what hobbies to spend. So I've been trying to play golf. It's been weird. There's a after graduating, like to become board certified, there's a couple extra things that you got to do. And so like when I graduated, I started studying for my oral boards, but I finished that a couple weeks ago. And just found out that I passed. So like now, like I'm done studying, and I'm like, oh man, like I literally have nothing to do outside. So trying to figure that out right now is that's
I mean, you got to think back. It's probably what high school for you when you've actually the last time you went home and just sat there and had nothing like pending, right?
yeah, probably.
That's wild. That's got to be a good feeling, though. I mean, just weight off the shoulders.
Honestly, I mean it's a weight off the shoulders, but it's caused me more anxiety than anything.
Really?
Like when stuff's hitting the fan or like there's a lot on my plate, I feel like I'm at my peak. Um, but like when there's really like nothing pending or no work to be done, I'm like, oh, there should be something, you know?
Got to create some chaos to
Yeah,
handle.
exactly. Right. And I'm like, oh, I'm missing something. I have like this fear of missing out on something.
Yeah.
Um, and so like that's what I'm kind of like working through now, which is kind of why I picked up this Botox and filler stuff. And that's kind of helped me in a little bit, but I don't know. I'm still figuring it. Stay tuned.
If you don't find some hobbies, you're just going to have all the letters after your name on your business card because you keep on picking up other certifications.
I guess, yeah.
That's good. Well, cool. Well, switching gears a little bit. So, Richie teased me a little bit and said you played in real estate some, but we haven't talked about that. So tell me from an investing side standpoint, or what does that look like for you?
Yeah, so it really has just been in investing. Um when my wife and I got married, we bought our first house out in Washington State, and we met a guy who was in the military named AJ Walker, and he was my one of my department heads. And this guy bought a house in every duty station that he's been in. So he had, I think, like 10 or 12 houses that he was renting out himself with positive cash flow and managing it while he was deployed and all this stuff. And I was like, what? Like, that makes zero sense on how you're doing that. And he was like, dude, just do it. Like, just get started. Like, don't be scared. And honestly, it's been the best advice I've ever gotten. Every time we moved, we bought a house and then rented it out when we left. And it's initially started out with me doing a lot of the property managing. But then I quickly was like, I'm over this. And so we had the margins enough to hire a property manager. Um, and that's worked out great for us so far. And right now we sold a couple just to kind of do other things, but right now we have two homes. And then when I was in dental school, I had bought two condos, but that was like the worst mistake of my life. I will never buy a condo again.
I've got a lot of reasons that I agree with you, but tell me why. Tell me about those deals specifically.
Well, I bought them like right before COVID happened. And so like it was literally I bought one um in downtown Birmingham near the school, and I was fixing it myself. Well, I paid someone to fix it. But it was the first time I was like kind of acting like a general manager, general contractor.
Mhm.
Um, and that was hard in of itself. But then you get into now COVID hits, trying to find someone that's going to rent it. Like that was super hard. So I had to cut down the what I projected as the rent. I cut that down by a couple $100s. And then I didn't know like the condo association fees were compared to the house that I had, they were like 10 times more expensive.
Jeez.
It was crazy. And they didn't even have that many amenities. Like they had like a rooftop area and then a gym that was like the size of this office, which is not very big. And I was like, you've got to be kidding me. And then they can hit you with like what is that thing where it's like we get a new roof and they're like, oh
Assessment.
yeah, then they can hit you with a random assessment at any time and you have to pay it.
Yep.
I was like, are you kidding me? So like I had two condos, both of them got an assessment at the same time for a new roof, and
No.
both of them were like $3,000 a piece. And I was like, well, that wipes out my profit for like a year. And so I was like, okay, I'm done with these. So I sold those. And then now I'm kind of just building up capital to kind of get into my next venture here. But yeah, I'll never do a condo.
Yeah, I learned kind of the hard that hard way as well with the assessments, and yeah, you don't have as much control, so it
Yeah.
just hurts your
The
cash.
association fees, like, okay, you can kind of predict that, but the assessments, I had no idea that was even a thing.
Yeah,
Uh,
were those two in the same building?
no, different buildings.
Oh, they just happened to hit at the same time.
They had it this exact same time.
Dang.
And so I looked at my wife and I was like, what in the world is that? I literally called them because they were like, oh, you owe us $3,000. I called the association. I was like, hey, I don't want to pay this. And they're like, no, this wasn't a request. Like we will we will withdraw from your account on this date. And I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I have no control. Okay, dang. So you still own the two houses that in Washington State and Virginia?
Washington State and Alabama. We sold the one in Virginia to kind of help buy the one in Alabama.
Okay,
Yeah, but I mean those are kind of like our long-term plays. And we'll kind of see if other opportunities come. We might sell those just to take other opportunities. But like we refinanced during COVID. And like honestly, I feel horrible that like to try to have to sell those because like they're basically free.
yeah,
Because it's 2.5% interest rate. You
yeah.
know?
You can't sell that. You got to keep it.
I know. So I'm like trying my hardest to figure out other ways to like get money to do other stuff. But like, I don't know. It's wild.
Yeah, well, especially if you bought it before COVID or refi. Then I mean, everything's appreciated so much since then.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And so my thing has always been like we bought new builds each time. And so in new communities. So like in my thought process is, well, if it's in an area that is good, then that will be the lowest that that price or the lowest that house will ever be. Right. And so it should always go up in value from this point forward. Now, unless something crazy happens in the market, but again, if that happens, then you just kind of hold on to it for longer.
yeah.
Um, but yeah, so hope, and then we refinance at a good time. So yeah,
I mean, you're in a unique position because one, you can get a VA loan, which has a ton of benefits, but you can also get now, I guess, for the Alabama house, you can get a doctor loan too. Did you look at both of those?
so we actually used the doctor loan to buy our house in Texas.
Okay.
Yeah. And so now we're gonna save up money because it's like a arm, like the doctor loan is an arm. And so within 5 years we're gonna need to refinance that. So we're saving up the down payment to refinance that right now.
Gotcha. Okay. But the other houses you buy, you do as a VA loan?
Uh First one was a VA. So the one in Washington was a VA, and then the second one was a conventional.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you remember why you decided to go conventional on that one?
I don't think we had enough funds in the VA to
Yep.
pay for another one
Gotcha.
at the time.
Okay. You may not remember, it's probably been a minute, but do you know the numbers off the top of your head for the Washington State house? You want to talk me through it? For purchase, if it was VA was 100% loan.
I know it was 100%. I don't remember. I don't remember what the cost of it was.
Right. That was a while ago.
Oh yeah, it was a long time ago. All I know is that we're making about 1,000 on our margin after they pay us rent, and then 10% goes to the property manager, which I mean, dude, the property managers, like I'll pay them whatever. right? As long as like your margins work and like you don't have to worry about those headaches, like, and they're a good property manager that's actually making sure your property is being taken care of, like they are worth their every cent that
Yeah.
they have.
And finding a good one's been my issue here. I've gone through and extreme ownership. I try to, look at the mirror first, and I know I'm the problem in some of it, but I still struggle to find something I love here. Do you use one for your Alabama house?
Yeah, so I think you interviewed her, Jordan Hosey.
Oh yeah. So she
Yeah,
managed it. Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So Jordan manages mine. I knew her since high school.
Okay. Yeah.
We went to prom together. Um, and and now she's doing big things in real estate. And she was like, "Oh, I'll help you out if you need to have a property manager." I was like, "Yeah, sure, let's give it a try." And she's been great.
Yeah. I know she's incredible. Where is that one?
That one is, oh my gosh, how did I forget? So it's right by Hoover High School. You know those new communities that they built out there.
Yeah.
It's not Black Ridge, but it's Lake Wilburn.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
right in Lake Wilburn.
Nice. That's a good spot.
Yeah, and like they're building like crazy out in Hoover, man.
Yes.
Like I had no idea like Hoover was that cool, like why they built all this stuff. But like
Yeah.
there's new shopping centers like everywhere I look. It's crazy.
Yeah. There's Signature Homes, which built Black Ridge and Lake Wilburn about a year, maybe a year and a half ago, started on their newest community that's behind Ross Bridge. It's going to have like 2,000 homes in it back there. It's massive.
Really?
Yeah. So I built whatever, however you want to call it, one of the first townhouses back there, which is like the smallest, cheapest one. What's that?
What is it called?
Everly?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I think my dad bought his first rental property out there.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you get a townhouse or a house?
Uh, Townhouse.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
which they're really nice.
Yeah.
Like
Super. Yeah. We just last week had our first tenant move out. He was there a year.
Oh wow.
So right at the year mark. So I actually
Too.
do what?
Their community pool is awesome.
It's ridiculous. It's like a resort pool. They have like an indoor golf bay.
Stuff. I was like, this is crazy.
It's insane. So yeah, we live in Bluff Park, probably 15 minutes from it. And
Yeah.
we don't have a pool. So I'm like, well, I got an extra key fob. Like we're gonna go down, take the kids down there.
Absolutely. Dude,
Yeah.
yeah, that's beautiful, man. I was super impressed with that when we went to look at it. But yeah, man, like I love real estate. Like I'm trying to get into commercial real estate. But I haven't really figured that one out yet. And I gotta save some more in order to be able to buy into that. But the kind of goal here is to eventually buy a piece of land, open it, get some commercial, build a commercial property, and then move the practice into that. And then have some tenants around it as well.
Yeah.
And so that's the ultimate goal here.
Yeah. That's awesome. The partners that you have, are y'all just renting the space you have now, or do y'all own that?
So he used to own this building, and then he sold it to a REIT. And so now they don't own it anymore. But I think our lease ends in about 3 years or so. And I think at that point, I'll be ready to go buy some land and build something.
Yeah.
But we'll see.
Yeah. 3 years away. It's about time to start planning.
Yeah, I made many plans in my life, and none of them have come to fruition. So we'll see where life takes us. That's like been my biggest lesson, is that like when I got out of the military, my wife and I were like planning to move back to Washington. We had the military move all of our stuff to Washington. And then on the drive out, we decided to stop in Alabama to like say hey to my parents. And then saw that they needed help. And I basically called her. She was on the plane, and I called her and I was like, hey, I think we need to move here. And I went and signed papers to buy a house in Alabama that day, to build in Wilburn. And then, yeah, that was it. Like I didn't get accepted into UAB for dental school yet. Like it was crazy how everything was kind of working. Yeah. But I mean, it was a good move. Like I getting into UAB, and then had a great experience at the dental school, had a great experience of residency, and now I'm having a great experience here. So it's worked out. But like none of my plans that I've had have worked out.
But you kept pushing, right? You didn't just give up. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's the key there. Did rotation take you to Texas, or what took you out there?
So the guy that owned like that is the lead doc here. I heard him speak at a like it was basically a resident gathering for endodontic residents that the American Association of Endodontists put together. And I heard him speak, and like every word that he said, I was like, I agree. When he's talking about how to treat patients, why we need to keep surgeries within our specialties, um, why we are important, like everything. I was like, yeah, man, like I 100% agree with everything that you're saying, and like how his patient philosophy and practice philosophy, what those were. And I agree with that. I was like, man, that guy would be a cool guy to work for. Um, but didn't think anything of it. And then I went back to Alabama, and one of my adjunct faculty was like, hey, I know this guy out in Amarillo, Texas, who's looking for a guy that's good. And I think y'all would be good together. And he kind of just hooked us up, and it ended up being the same guy. And I was like, wow, okay. Cool. And so I flew out to Texas, met him, met the practice, and loved it. A month later, flew my wife and kids out to visit, and they loved it here. And yeah, we signed papers that day. So it was really quick.
Yeah.
Um, Going from nothing to, okay, we're going to be here. Wow. Yeah. But
Yeah.
again, one of those things, like just be willing to say yes. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I love it. So is that do you see just the foreseeable future until something else crosses your path of, hey, that's where you're going, looking to build a new building for the practice to move and just keep growing there?
Yeah. I mean, for the foreseeable future, I think this place is great.
Yeah.
Amarillo is a really good small town to raise a family. Everyone's really not like, I haven't met nicer people than the ones that I met here. And the people that I work with are awesome. Um, and so I want to be here for as long as they'll have me. And it's really interesting. Like they're part of like a dental support organization, like a corporate dentistry. There is a group of people that help run the business side of things here. Um, and when I was going through dental school, that was always like oh, you should never go there. But like now being here, it's crazy how much that relationship works. Cause like you have guys and girls that know how to do the dentistry well, but may not know how to do the business side well. Right. And then you have the opposite, right? And you get those two together in a room. Now we can help grow everyone together. Um, and I've really enjoyed that. And I've gotten to be in talks with some of the higher ups within the company and talking about like the vision forward. And I kind of believe in what they are saying. And I think that investing in something like this will ultimately give you a higher return, right? Because I mean, if you think about it, like eventually when you retire, you have to sell your business, right? Um, or you just close your doors. Um, but most people, when they open up a dental practice, are going to want to sell. But with as much debt um, and financial burden that a lot of students are graduating with, I think that's going to be really hard to say in 20 years, I'm going to find someone to sell to. Whereas if you are to invest within a company that continues to grow, then you should be able to make more or at least even to what you are going to sell a practice that you started and put all this hard work into with a much smaller initial investment. Right.
Yeah. And then take those funds and just direct them into any type of investment.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe real estate.
Right. And it's just I saw how much owning a business affected like the day-to-day like life with family. And I don't want to go through that.
Yeah.
I respect it. But I'm not trying to worry about a business at 12 o'clock at night.
Okay.
And so whatever I can do to avoid that, but have the same benefits that I'm going to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that.
And I think that's like a lot of people when they think about owning a business, they don't really think about what else is involved in that. You know what I mean? Like they don't know about the hours afterwards when the doors close that you have to focus on things. And everyone just kind of glorifies it without knowing what it really means until you're in it. And then you're like, what did I get myself into? But at that point, it's too late. You can't quit, you know? Um, but I think with my background, I have a little bit more of an appreciation of what that takes. Um, and I'm able to kind of say, hey, I don't want to go through that right now.
Yeah.
Because we got 3 small kids and a wife that hasn't had me around for the last 8 years. So like now it's my time to be with them.
Yeah. How old are your kids?
9-year-old girl, 4-year-old boy, and a 1-year-old girl.
Nice.
So I'm
spread out. Yeah.
you know,
That's awesome. We got a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old. So
oh yeah.
kind of right there with you. Yeah.
Yep. Still in diapers.
Yeah. Yeah. We probably got another year until he gets out of diapers.
Yeah. And just so full of energy, man.
Yes.
All the time. I don't understand it. I envy it.
Yeah. It's fun though. It is fun. Cool. Well, man, I've kept you for longer than I intended to. It's just been fun catching up with you. Before I let you go, though, the one of the main things I remember from back in the day is you drove the coolest car in school. Had this, I forget the year, but it was a red Toyota Supra.
Yeah.
What year is this? 90 something, right?
This is 97.
97. What happened to that car?
Oh man, I sold that and bought my house in Virginia.
Oh man. So you had it through Washington State and then all the way to Virginia?
Yep.
That's awesome.
Dude, it was such an impractical car. Like it was a cool car, but it was so impractical. That thing was like an inch off the ground. Like if there's anything on the road, you were scraping it.
Yeah.
And it just finally got to the point where I was like, I'm done dealing with this. And we needed some money to buy a house, so I sold that. And then bought a house in Virginia. I completely forgot about that actually.
Dude, I remember that because I was like, that is the coolest car I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was my coolest. He bought it and like based it off of like the Fast and the Furious car.
Yep.
I mean, it felt really cool driving it, but it's such an impractical car.
I love it. I love it. What's do you have now that you've got time to sit down and kind of think about things outside of textbooks? Do you have a future like dream car that you want to go after?
Oh, a dream car?
Yeah.
Dude, I mean, I don't know if I'll ever get this, but I would love to have an Audi R8. I think that is the most beautiful car I've ever seen in my life.
I love those. I love those. My Rachel had a Audi Q7 for a couple years, and it was super fun to drive. That's like the bigger, not mini, kind of almost looks like a minivan, but it's not. Super fun to drive, but it was so expensive. Everything was expensive on it, and I just kind of and it had a lot of problems. It almost blew up at like 96,000 miles. And so I kind of got a bad taste for Audis now. I'm like, the R8's so cool, so fun to drive, but
I don't know. Here's my thing, man. I think now that like I'm older and like I have to spend my own money on stuff, like I'm just not about buying like super expensive cars. I just saw this thing on Instagram where like Toyota's coming out next year with a $8,000 pickup truck. And I'm like, dude, I will rock that. Like a brand new $1,000 pickup truck, like that sounds great.
yeah,
And I'll trade in my 2010 Toyota Corolla that I'm driving right now for that. And I mean, unless I hit the lottery or something, I don't plan on spending a lot of money on cars and fancy things. I'd much rather spend money on like nice vacations and experiences than anything. So that's why I say like I don't think I'm ever gonna buy an Audi R8 unless someone wants to gift it to me somehow. But like that would be cool. But then like now I'm just worried about my kids scratching it.
yeah,
You know, it's like another job, just like taking care of this fancy thing that you bought and don't really need.
yep,
But yeah, but then if that Toyota comes out for an $8,000 pickup truck, I'm 100% buying that. Like,
if you did take me a picture of it, I want to see it.
yeah, what a deal it would be.
That's awesome. Well, man, before I let you go, any podcast or books that you're listening to or reading that you want to shout out?
Oh man.
I didn't tell you this question.
I'm actually, I don't know. I haven't been reading. We're trying to start like a little book club to like learn more about business and stuff. And I think the first book that we're reading is the 10X Rule. I forgot who it's by. I think it's Grant Cardone.
Yeah.
But really just anything that you can get your hands on to learn how to invest or to better your life. I think that's the best investment that you'll make. All right. Cause like, I don't know. Then another reason why I came here is because so the guy's name that is the lead doc, his name's Kirk Corey. And when I looked at his career, I was like, man, that's basically what I want to do. Right. And I literally told him, I was like, look, I'll come here if you turn me into you. Because I think a lot of the paths to success have been walked by other people. And if you can find someone that has walked that path and that is willing to show you how to avoid the wrong turns and to make it from point A to point B in a quicker way, like find that person, learn as much as you can, and then implement what you learn. And I think so many people nowadays are just like, oh, I want to do things on my own, or I want to figure it out. Or if people have like parents that have done it and they're now in the business that their parents do, but they're like, oh no, I'm going to do it my own way. It's like, why? Like they've already paved the path where you just follow their path, and continue doing what they're doing, and you'll be there at their level at a much quicker pace, you know?
Yeah. Dude, that's so good. That's one of the reasons I started doing this podcast, was just to talk about my experiences and other people's experience going through business, growing a business, so they can skip all the failures, learn from it quickly instead of having to experience it.
Yeah.
Quick start there. Yeah, that's exactly it.
That was a big thing in the military. We have these things called lessons learned, where like after every evolution that we did, we sat down, talked about what went right, what went wrong, and how to learn from it. And then the next time it would be better. And it's like, okay, well, let's apply that to everyday life. Like everyone has their lessons learned. Go figure out what those lessons are and learn them so you don't make them. And like even with real estate, there's there's one really big real estate podcast called I think it's Real Estate Investor. No, what's it called? Bigger Pockets?
Yeah.
So like when I was just getting into real estate, like I listened to that religiously, and like I avoided so many pitfalls just from listening to those, you know? And I think no matter what you want to do or where you want to be in life, like there is someone that has done it before you. Find that person. And there's so much access to everything with the internet. So you can find that person and learn from them to kind of figure out how to do it yourself.
Yeah, that's so good. Mapping out where you want to go first, like that takes some intentionality of sitting down saying, here's what I want to be, instead of just kind of flying through every day just mindlessly, and then go figure out, hey, who's there? Who can I learn from? That's
all you need to know is point A and point B, and then everything else in between, there's someone that has done it.
Yeah.
You just got to find that person and then make sure they're good.
Yeah, that's so good. Well, awesome. One book that I want to send to you, it's called Unreasonable Hospitality. Have you heard of that?
Yeah.
Have you read that?
I have not read that.
Okay. That's probably the book of the year for me. I've loved it. And it's in the restaurant industry stuff. Nothing to do with real estate, nothing to do with dentistry, but it's about service forward, period.
Yeah.
Customer experience and service forward, and how to treat the customer. And it's really, that's the business we're in. So, that's awesome.
Extreme ownership.
Yeah. That's like, I think about that every single day, because there's problems every single day, and it's very easy that my initial reaction is to blame someone or look to where to point the finger, but it's always here first, right? How is this my fault? So
yeah, actually, that was the last book I read. I absolutely loved that book. I mean, I don't know, like, I mean, if you liked it, then it's great. But like coming from a military background myself, I was like, man, I see how this applies. And I've kind of felt that way, but I've never called it extreme ownership. But yeah, like a lot of times you just got to look in the mirror, man. Stop blaming other people for your problems. Look in the mirror and see what you're doing wrong.
Yeah.
I mean, then change it.
Yep. Own it and move on.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Well, Viet, thanks so much for being here, man. This has been a blast. I'm excited to see your $8,000 truck next year, and we'll stay in touch. Let me know as you kind of get into the development and commercial stuff. That's on my schedule for next year, is doing some ground up commercial stuff. So we'll have to compare notes and
Heck yeah, dude.
try to find someone to learn from. So
Heck yeah. All right, man. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate you doing this. Hopefully it was good for you.
oh yeah, dude, this is awesome. We'll get some good stuff out of it. And until next time,
All right, man.
thank you.